tell me how you guys all came together. So what is the unifying force behind these powerhouse of men and women of purpose, of business, of faith? So why don't you guys start with telling me about what brought you all together?
I guess it's the author's journey.
Yes, the author's journey.
The author's
book.
journey.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the publisher is Ilona Washington,
Okay.
and some of us worked on book one, which was
Triumph
in the Trenches.
Let's hold this
Navigating
up.
Success for Black Professionals, and then volume two is it's called volume two.
Yes.
But the great thing is that it's turning out to be a trilogy, and this is the second book. So there's another one coming. So this is how we initially met.
Yes. But I think the book is really just indicative of a larger purpose.
Yes.
Because when we spend time together talking, we realize that we not only have many things in common, we realize that we've literally been put together to be as biblical as possible, to be put together for such a time as this. Because we began writing the Triumph series sort of before America began to evolve into its dire need of not just this book, but of us as a team.
Yes.
And I think the word that I often say that binds us together is trauma, but not in a negative sense.
Yes.
Right? So as I've said, we have not bonded by a weird interdependency. What we've bonded over is wellness, is the fact that the one theme that runs through all of us is that we are healed people or on a journey of healing.
Yes.
And we are extending healing to people on the outside. And we formulate a group. Lastly, I'm going to say the thing that struck me the most when we first got together and we were on that Zoom or that virtual interaction group that we had was that we were from different parts of the world.
Yes.
That we were not all from this nation, but we were from different parts of the world, different walks of life, and yet we all had experiences that were deeply connected. So we understood trauma from the inside, where we had all, in our work experience, in our journey upward in our career, had experienced the things that we were writing about. So we were experts who had come together. And this is the thing that's most important, is that people on the outside of the African diaspora frequently like to tell us that it's all in our minds.
Yes.
But the greatest power of this group is our ability to say we are an army, letting you understand that this trauma does happen in the workplace.
Yes.
And that we have not only survived the trauma, but we thrive.
Yes.
And we are able as a body to tell you how to walk out of it and how to walk out of it well.
Absolutely.
Dr. Carrie and I are both in the Courageous Pursuit of Authenticity book. Right? Hold it up.
Yes. Hold it up. Yes.
And so that's what I spoke about that in my chapter in there, because I was saying how there becomes a time in the organization, the machine, right, where show up as your authentic self becomes a microaggression.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
So they say, we want you to show up. Come show up, be your authentic self.
Yes.
Or they weaponize it and say, I don't think that you're being authentic with me right now. And so for me, and in my chapter, it's like, so what's going on? And, and so in my chapter, it was about my authenticity belongs to me.
Yes.
Now I will show up as my professional authentic self, and I will do my job, and I will do what's required of me, and I will get my paycheck. But my personal authenticity belongs to the people I love. It belongs to the people who have earned that right for me to share that with them. So everyone does not have or should not have access to your personal authenticity.
Yes.
That needs to be earned.
And that's the courageous pursuit of authenticity that we kind of talk about. Even though Philip, well, you weren't part of this.
No, I wasn't part of that.
But once again, an example. of, constantly getting feedback, which really wasn't feedback,
Yes.
in reviews, saying, you need to be more approachable.
Yeah.
Or,
That's my
how you be so
Oh.
aggressive.
That's my
Yes, aggressive.
People will make you think something is really wrong with you. And I mean,
Yes.
Yes.
you need to do some self-reflection.
Yes.
I have more self-reflective journals. And I found myself, and this is what I kind of talk about, is I found myself in my early career just like transforming into something. And I
Yes.
was like, this is not who you are.
Yeah.
So when I speak about my authenticity, it was actually finding my real self and
Yes.
saying, no, I'm not being aggressive. Unfortunately for you, that's how you're receiving it.
Right.
Yes.
And I am approachable because I don't have some invisible force field around me. That I said, so I no longer will ascribe to the labels that you put there, that are not quantitative.
Right.
Now, if you tell me that, X amount of my students aren't, doing their work, or X amount of my suspensions or expulsions or increasing, why is that? If you can quantify something, but they couldn't quantify it because all of those numbers were obsolete when it came to me and my students.
Oh, wow.
So now you have to just find some feedback.
Yes.
So now the feedback is about how colleagues feel.
Right.
Now, I signed up to be a middle school teacher.
Yes, ma'am.
They already been to middle school. So it's really, if you're not getting complaints from the students and their parents, what are we talking about?